worried about this storm. The predictions have gotten worse over the last 24 hours.
Governor Beshear issues a state of emergency for the winter storm that's already wreaking havoc in several states, from New Mexico to Texas, Indiana, Missouri, and more. We have team coverage of Kentucky's preparations. But first, we want to get you right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck's full forecast with a look at the timing of this storm. Bill.
Well, it is certainly a storm we have been talking about for a while. We will continue to talk about for a couple more days and maybe beyond that, depending on just how bad things can get. And they can get bad by the time this is all done. So warnings have just been extended to the south to include now Somerset and London, most of eastern Kentucky winter storm warning, central Kentucky into the west. It's an ice storm warning. And so we are looking at significant amounts of icing out of this. Here's what we are looking at. As a reference point for the 09 ice storm that affected so many, that was over an inch of ice locally. For the Lexington storm in 03, it was around 3/4 of an inch of ice, up to nearly an inch in places. Right now, we've got a pretty broad swath of anywhere from 1/3 to 3/4 of an inch of ice, so centered essentially on about a 1/2 inch. A little bit less as you look to the southeast and much less as you head toward the Lake Cumberland area. We may mix some sleet in across northern Kentucky and snow as well. So those are the overall setups. But 1/3 to 3/4 of an inch of ice is a significant event for us. So what does that mean? It's somewhere, if the 1/2 inch is considered to be hazardous, that you get tree and power line damage, power outages become an increasing possibility, roads become difficult to navigate, especially as cold as we're going to get. A little bit less than that, if you're less than that 1/2 inch, you do get some icy roads that are out there. Travel can become difficult. There can be some power outages. Do we have a chance to get to this level? It's out there. The possibility is there, although at this point, I think we come in just a little bit less than that. So what's on the table here in order of how we think things are going to go? First of all, a major snow and ice storm is going to happen in the Ohio Valley, and for some is already underway to our north and west. For central and eastern Kentucky, significant icing. Think of that 1/2 inch amount as kind of your center point, but plus or minus a little bit on that. But again, there will be impacts from that. Our best case scenario, how do we get out of this with hardly anything happening? A 33-degree rain. I do not think that is likely for most of us. So again, that's at least on the table, but not likely. And for southern and southeastern Kentucky, the transition doesn't happen until tomorrow night, and overall there will be less impact. So it's just rain tonight and tomorrow early in the day. Then deteriorating conditions tomorrow afternoon and evening. Bitterly cold air is going to follow this in, and so the transition times up through the I-71 corridor, maybe to Franklin, Scott, Harrison County. 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the transition time from rain to freezing rain. For most of central Kentucky along the I-64 corridor, anywhere from 8 in the morning to maybe as late as 2 in the afternoon, just depending on how fast that Arctic air seeps underneath. I think there's going to be a little stall in the line for a while. That's why we skipped the time to 4 to 8 then. As you get down towards, say, southern Madison County, Rockcastle, Jackson County, over toward Breathitt, Pulaski County, and that 4 to 8, and then after midnight for southern and southeastern parts of Kentucky. So how does this happen? What is the meteorological mechanism that makes this go on? So what we're doing is giving you sort of a vertical display. You notice the temperatures here at the surface and a mile up. They're backwards. Normally, it gets colder the higher up you go. So a mile up, temperatures will be in the 40s, and that's at 8 o'clock in the morning. Lexington surface temperature right around 33. But as we continue to the latter part of the morning, you notice it actually warms a mile up, but at the surface gets colder. And now you see all that pink. That's the freezing rain. And as we continue through the afternoon into the evening, you notice that cold air continues in place with the warm air aloft. And so the bottom line for us is it's freezing rain and not snow. Now the snow is up here to our north and west. If you're traveling Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, you're not, because that snow is going to be huge. And we have flood watches in places because heavy rain is a possibility, especially across southern and south central parts of Kentucky. So again, how all this develops through the night tonight, you notice the temperatures are falling for many of us. Look at the temperature spread tomorrow, north to south across Kentucky. At 10:15, again, you're looking at those transitions to freezing rain taking place. So for tonight, the rain continues. Some of it will be heavy. It's a mild night. We're in the low 40s. That's also your high tomorrow because temperatures are falling through the day into the upper 20s by the end of the afternoon. The ice storm warning is in place. Rain changing to freezing. Rain ends as snow Friday morning. Bitterly cold will be around 0 on Saturday morning.
All right, Bill, thank you. Our LEX 18 crews were all across the Bluegrass looking at how some places are preparing for the upcoming storm, from treating roads to driving safely. Here's more in today's team coverage.
I'm Carolina Busick in Frankfort at the state's Emergency Operations Center. Kentucky crews are ready to respond to another winter storm, and this one brings the potential of significant ice. Now, Kentucky knows how bad ice storms can get. In the past, many people have lost power and roads were terrible, so the state is taking things seriously. And the governor tells LEX 18 that he's nervous about this one. He says based on what's on the forecast, the potential thickness of the ice could rival ice storms of the past. Now, the good news is Kentucky has made improvements since the last bad storms, so the governor hopes our infrastructure is not as vulnerable anymore, but he says the severity of the storm will ultimately test it out. And he says although roads will likely be bad and there may be some power loss, the state has crews that are ready to respond. The governor urges people to prepare today and tomorrow. He says before you head out on the roads, make sure that they are safe. If they're not, he says the best thing you can do is stay home.
I'm Michael Burke in Georgetown, where Scott County salt barn is well stocked, despite the numerous storms we've had so far this season. But will it matter how much salt is in here once we transition to ice? County Roads Crew Chief J.R. Brandenburg says maybe not, and that's because of all the rain. That makes pre-treating the roads before the storm pretty much a useless exercise that they won't even attempt. So as J.R. said, we are pretty much at the mercy of this storm and exactly how much ice we get and how low the temperatures go.
I'm Austin Pollock in Lexington. When we have winter weather such as snow, a lot of times we know what to do. That's stay off the roads. We know we can wait for the plows to clear the roads, can also shovel to get out of our driveways. When it comes to ice, it's a whole different story. AAA has a number of tips for how to deal with driving in ice. We have some of those for you. First, it's simple. Just stay home. Even with four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, it can't cut back on the risk of icy, slippery roads. Don't brake and turn at the same time. Don't follow the other vehicles too closely. Don't be abrupt with your steering, acceleration, and braking. Also, if you start to skid, don't hit the brakes. We notice a lot of these when some of that snow starts to get slick and slushy and even freezing over. We've dealt with those type of situations before, but the best thing to do in the ice is just to stay home.
I'm Rachel Richardson, just outside of Owenton here at Owen Electric, where they're getting prepared for this week's winter weather. They say the best ways for the community to prepare is to have an emergency preparedness kit and be able to have open lines of communication between themselves and this co-op.
More than 100 million people are under winter weather alerts. Today's forecast threatens to paralyze parts of the Midwest and South with ice, snow, those dangerously cold temperatures Bill told you about, and possible power outages. As Daryl Forges reports, the effects of the hard freeze could linger across several states well into the weekend.
Make no mistake about it, this is a major winter storm that we'll be dealing with for the next 2 days.
Major cities preparing for another massive winter storm. In Ohio, crews are still digging out from the last round.
Hopefully it'll make it before everything starts freezing by getting the snow out of the way.
Forecasters predict up to 15 to 20 inches of snow walloping parts of the Midwest. But the main threat with this system, ice.
People can navigate on roads that are hard packed because they still have traction. But with the ice, it's hard to get traction.
Prompting a warning from the mayor of Indianapolis.
Starting Wednesday evening at the latest, drivers should stay off the roads.
With impacts expected to linger into the weekend, several governors have declared states of emergency.
After last year, I think us all Texans are kind of scared.
Further south, Governor Greg Abbott is assuring Texans the state's power grid is better prepared than last year, when an ice storm led to widespread power outages and left thousands freezing for weeks.
I'm a little skeptical. I'm hoping that everything works out good, but it's always good to be prepared.
In Detroit, Michigan, I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Be sure to stay with us and stay up to date with all the winter weather changes while on the go. Download the LEX 18 Storm Tracker Weather app and get your forecast anytime. Lexington police arrested a man in connection with an armed robbery. Police arrested 43-year-old DeTonio Rutherford. The robbery happened last month at the Speedway on Leestown Road. Rutherford has been charged with robbery and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. The Biden administration announced today that the U.S. is deploying about 3,000 troops to help defend European allies amid the standoff over Russia's military buildup on Ukraine's border. About 1,000 American soldiers in Germany will be repositioned to Romania in the coming days to support a similar number of American forces currently in the country, Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby announced. The U.S. is also moving an additional force of about 2,000 troops from the U.S. to Europe, with most of them going to Poland. The announcement comes a day after Russian President Vladimir Putin said the U.S. and its allies have ignored Russia's key security demands, as his country has amassed at least 130,000 troops on Ukraine's border. Now, on a lighter note, Warren Central High School has done a little something extra to thank and support their teachers during what may be the hardest time for teaching they've ever experienced. Not only have the teachers been dealing with COVID over the past 2 years, but many of Warren Central's teachers and students were directly impacted by the December 11th tornado, and one student was killed. So to help morale and to encourage teachers to take a moment to breathe, the principal, Joey Norman, decided to put in a relaxation room. That tranquil-sounding miniature spa includes a coffee and tea bar, a charging station, and best of all, 3 massage chairs.
My staff, they deserve it. They deserve more than that. Each one deserves a massage chair in their room. I mean, I only got 3, but 15 minutes here or there can make a big difference. And we try to. I go by the mantra, if you have happy teachers, you probably have happy kids.
The response to the room has been overwhelmingly positive from faculty and the community, with many asking if they can borrow the room for a day. A second installment of Kentucky artwork is being displayed at the Capitol in Frankfort. It features more than 50 artists from around the Commonwealth. The spring 2022 exhibition of the Team Kentucky Gallery can be viewed in 2 of the main hallways of the state capitol. The project is aimed at connecting and expressing pride in Kentucky through art. The Kentucky men's basketball team had a big road win this past weekend, which pushed them to number 5 in the rankings, but they're back at home tonight for another conference matchup, and they're looking for the season sweep against the Vanderbilt Commodores. UK already posted a 78-66 victory over Vandy last month on the road. A win tonight will allow the Cats to improve to 18-4, 7-2 in the conference, plus extend their win streak to 3. Tip-off is set for 7 tonight at Rupp Arena or on the SEC Network if you can't make it to the game. Well, now let's get a live look at the LEX 18 traffic tracker before you head out for the evening commute. This is Fortune Drive at Winchester, and doesn't that look nice? The roads are only wet. You got to wonder what we're going to see about 24 hours from now. But so far, everything's clear for this evening. Well, still to come at 4, most of us have New Year's resolutions that we normally give up on by this time of the year, but you can help your child keep their goals. Hear what experts have to say. More LEX 18 News at 4 begins, or continues rather, after this break. Hello, I'm Nancy Cox, inviting you to wear red this Friday and take action against the #1 health threat to women, cardiovascular disease. Go Red Lexington.
Sponsored nationally by CVS Health.
What makes Febreze Air Effects different? While cheaper aerosols rely on artificial propellants, Febreze uses a 100% natural propellant. Check it out. Pressure created by what's in your air makes the bottle spray, which means freshness everyone will love. Febreze.
My hygienist cleans with a round head. So does my Oral-B. My hygienist personalizes my cleaning. So does my Oral-B.
Oral-B delivers the wow of a professional clean feel every day.
Tired of being tired? Lose weight quickly and safely with Ageless Medical Weight Loss. We can help you return to being the best version of yourself. Take the first step toward a healthier, happier you and call Ageless Medical Weight Loss at 859-335-1330.
Dove 0% is different. We left aluminum out and put 48-hour freshness and 1/4 moisturizers in. Dove 0% aluminum deodorant is kinder on skin, and now it's refillable for life.
Ready to style in just one step? Introducing new TRESemmé One-Step Stylers. 5 professional benefits, 1 simple step. Totally effortless. Styling has never been easier. TRESemmé. Do it with style.
Guys, it's cold outside.
And when your heat is on, your money's gone.
Keep the outside outside.
And the inside inside.
With precision engineered windows from the Window Source.
Stay toasty.
And say goodbye to high utility bills.
You can get a price right now at windowsourceofkentucky.com.
Super efficient windows
that won't break the bank.
I'm Deb, and I'm a Hollywood stunt woman. Pain is what I do for a living. But nothing could have prepared me for the kind of pain I was in after my car wreck. I'm finally recovering, but it was a long road. I couldn't have done it without the Hammer and his team. They really took care of me. They got me the money and the justice I deserve. Daryl really means it when he says one call, that's all.
Call the Hammer today. One call, that's all.
You could win a new Lexus just for doing a good deed. Buy a raffle ticket at LittleOnesRaffle.com and help the kids at the Kentucky Children's Hospital and Woodhill Community Center. LittleOnesRaffle.com.
Welcome back to LEX 18 News. At the start of a new year, many of us make goals for ourselves, but kids can aim to do better too. And while this time of the new year is typically when a lot of us give up on those resolutions, working together as a family may give you the push that's needed to succeed. Mandy Gaither explains in today's Health Watch.
It's that time of year when your resolutions tend to fade away, but targeting a goal with your children may be helpful to you both.
It gives you time to have a conversation with them about what matters to them and what things that they want to achieve.
Dr. Stephanie Walsh with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says having a goal doesn't just foster good communication, but also allows them to be in charge of something and helps arm them with skills for the future.
To set out a plan. What's the first step? What's the second step? It allows you to talk about things like barriers that might come up. And then when things maybe don't go so well, it gives you a chance to problem solve.
When working toward goals together, Walsh says to have conversations about how far they've come, what's been hard and what's worked along the way. Applaud and encourage them to continue working hard and be ready to adapt if the goal changes.
They can't have a goal to eat apples if there's no apples in the house. So what's something that the kid could be in charge of? And maybe it's easier to say things like, well, I'm going to eat a piece of fruit every day.
Helping your child keep on track with a goal may push you to do the same. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Walsh also says when trying to reach a goal, it's okay to fail. She says that's a good lesson for children to learn too, because it also teaches resilience. Job growth in the U.S. appears to have hit a screeching halt last month. That's according to ADP. The payroll company's employment report shows the economy lost 300,000 jobs in January. Economists had predicted 207,000 jobs would be added. Investors view ADP's report as an early indicator of official numbers from the Labor Department, but the two often differ by a wide margin. ADP only looks at private payrolls, while the Labor Department counts all workers. The official report comes out Friday, and economists believe it will show 150,000 jobs. 150,000 jobs have been added. Now let's take a live look at the LEX 18 traffic tracker before you head out this evening. This is Harrodsburg Road at Lane Allen. Again, it looks like folks are taking their time a little bit with the wet roads, but that's really a good idea. We'll keep you posted, though, tomorrow at this time. The nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have been announced. Which artists are being considered to be inducted in the hall? More LEX 18 News at 4 is coming up after the break.
It's National Signing Day for the UK football team. Learn more about this incoming class of Wildcats.
Plus, I'll talk with one of the fastest cats in the class. Hear from freshman wide receiver Jordan Anthony.
Itchy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. It just cleans better, so your family can use less.
Hello, clean bottom.
Enjoy the go with Charmin.
One Prilosec OTC in the morning blocks heartburn all day and all night. Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production that can cause heartburn. So don't fight heartburn. Block it with Prilosec OTC.
Now with Spectrum Mobile, if you get 2 or more lines, it's just $29.99 a month each. $29.99! And I know what you're thinking. What can I really be getting for that price? Everything. Unlimited data, 5G included. You get this guy. He's great. He never stops. And you get, balloons. You also get the most reliable service coast to coast for just $29.99. Hey, I got you these. Thanks. And also, there's no added taxes, no hidden fees, no contracts. And you get the fastest overall speeds for just $29.99 a month.
$29.99?
Oh, I know. It's very good.
This is thousands of hours of advanced research.
And yet, still $29.99. That's a multi-billion-dollar network you're getting. For how much? Oh, right. And you also get, this is a closet. And all this comes on a super secure connection. $29.99. Are they crazy? Possibly. Are they going to change it? No, they already made the balloons. It's the best deal in mobile. Spectrum Mobile. Call, click, or visit a Spectrum store today.
Dry eye symptoms keep driving you crazy? Inflammation in your eye might be to blame.
Let's kick Ken's ache and burn into gear.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by lubricating your eyes and may provide temporary relief.
Those drops will probably pass right by me.
Xiidra works differently, targeting inflammation that can cause dry eye disease.
What is that? Xiidra?
It can provide lasting relief. Xiidra is the only FDA-approved non-steroid eye drop specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort, or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xiidra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts.
Got any room in your eye?
Be proactive about managing your symptoms by talking to your doctor about twice daily Xiidra like I did.
I prefer you didn't.
Xiidra. Not today, dry eye.
I was sitting at a red light, and this guy's looking at his phone instead of where he's going. Bam! He rear ends me. I need a lawyer, and I need one who thinks my case is important, not another file in the pile. I called the Kentucky Courage Lawyers at 855 Wildcat, and they got me a settlement even better than I had hoped.
After a car or big truck wreck, call the lawyers with Kentucky Courage.
Call 855-WILDCAT. Morgan, Collins, Yeast, and Salyer.
Brave responders arrived to a raging house fire to help trapped victims make a leap of faith and end up saving their lives. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
Tense body cam video captured responding deputies in Illinois breaking the fall of a woman jumping from a raging townhouse fire. 3 Kendall County deputies were first on the scene of the complex fire in Montgomery, where 2 people were reported trapped upstairs.
We both knew at that point that this was a life or death situation.
There was a ton of smoke. It was hard to see. And then I noticed the first victim starting to come out of the window.
The force of the woman's 20-foot jump knocked the deputy to the ground. Moments later, a second victim can be seen jumping from the flaming window. The deputies rushed everyone away from the engulfed building as local fire authorities began to tackle the blaze. The victims, who suffered only non-life-threatening injuries, were later reunited with their dog, who they dropped out of the window ahead of themselves.
To see the end result of it, I mean, that's what we both wanted.
From braving extreme heat to braving very extreme cold. That's what Navy and Coast Guard divers from California are doing in Minnesota, cutting holes in the ice of a frozen-over lake and preparing to jump right in.
Being here is definitely different.
Organizers say the frigid locale at Camp Ripley is perfect for cold water diver training, even if members of the California-based unit aren't too jazzed about it.
And you can see it in the guys' faces when they're about to dive. They're just kind of in their chi, trying to figure out how they're going to do this.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Glad they don't depend on me for that. Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced this year's nominees for induction. The Cleveland-based institution announced 17 artists and groups that are being considered for Rock Hall induction. Dolly Parton, Eminem, Lionel Richie, Duran, and A Tribe Called Quest are among this year's first-time nominees. Others include Rage Against the Machine, Pat Benatar, yes, Dionne Warwick, Carly Simon, Judas Priest, and Beck. Musicians become eligible for induction 25 years after the release of their first recording. This year's class will be announced in May. The induction ceremony will be planned for later this year. The National Football League says my ignorance of music, right? Guyton will sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl in Inglewood, California next week. If it's not country, I'm sorry. The artist released her debut album, Remember Her Name, last year. It received a Grammy nod for Best Country Album. Oh, she is country. Well, now I'm even more ignorant. Okay, that was the first ever for a black artist. Prior to kickoff, Grammy-nominated artist...
Go ahead, take a shot at it.
Nope, not going to do it. Nobody's helping me. Tell me in my ear, but that artist will sing America the Beautiful. Erica and Tina Campbell's gospel sister duo, Mary Mary, will perform Lift Every Voice and Song. The NFL previously announced Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar will perform at halftime. Whew. And don't forget, you can watch Super Bowl 56 only here on LEX 18 on the 13th. There will be Olympics coverage afterwards. Then stay tuned for a late edition of LEX 18 News. And stay with LEX 18 to watch Team USA go for gold. The first events begin tomorrow night at 8. The opening ceremony begins Friday at 6:30 a.m. Let's get one last look at the traffic tracker. This is Broadway and 3rd. Folks heading home, and the roads are not bad, thankfully. But Bill, bail me out here and tell us how it might look a lot different 24 hours from now.
Oh, it's going to be vastly different tomorrow at this time in Lexington, where I expect the full-fledged ice storm to be ongoing. And with your music, Nancy, I mean, if it didn't happen before 1988, I've got no clue. So, you know, you're at least up aware on what current country is. All righty. Weather-wise, you're going to be wanting to listen to a lot of music over the next few days. We have got ice storm warnings, all of the bluegrass counties, including Lexington, down as far as Casey County. Winter storm warnings for freezing rain from Pulaski and Laurel County on up to the northeast. Bottom line is a significant ice storm is approaching. It begins for us, for some, as early as tomorrow morning.
With Barney and VeggieTales, I have you covered, but not much else. Thanks for watching.
LEX 18, streaming local news 24/7. Search for LEX 18 on your device.
Today on LEX 18 News at 5, Governor Beshear declares a state of emergency before Thursday's ice storm. Plus, we'll show you how state officials and communities across the state are preparing for more winter weather today at 5.
Every time I got paid at work, they kept my money for Social Security taxes. So when I had medical problems, I thought I'd get Social Security disability. Wrong. They turned me down. So I called 855 Wildcat. They got Social Security to pay me.
Today, more and more Kentuckians are being denied. You want an experienced Social Security lawyer. You want Kentucky courage.
Call 800-55-WILDCAT. Morgan, Collins, Houston, Salyer.
Tired of being tired? Lose weight quickly and safely with Ageless Medical Weight Loss. We can help you return to being the best version of yourself. Take the first step toward a healthier, happier you and call Ageless Medical Weight Loss at 859-335-1330.
Hey, I'm Joe Montana. When you get to be our age, you have little patience for nonsense and inefficiency. After years of practice, you become a pro at pretty much everything. So when I qualified for Medicare, I got WellCare. They're pros at making things streamlined, efficient, and convenient. WellCare offers great benefits like free grocery, meal, and prescription delivery. And if you need to see a doctor, you can get in-home visits and 24/7 virtual visits. WellCare is no nonsense, just great benefits and none of the hassles. Every delivery.
committed to getting rid of the nonsense and inconvenience associated with health insurance. Instead, you're just focusing on giving you great benefits. So don't delay. Act now. WellCare. It's Medicare done well.